need some teams like that towards that bottom side to come out and have a stormer if they want a chance to stay in right now, because the points are only going in one direction, and that's the teams who are just outside the top 7.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, it must be an ego play. The Falcons want to be the top of all group stages. They still have to take down Virtus.pro with about 29 or so points combined in the next 2 games. Well within reach for that team that just dropped well over 30 points with that win. But because the Falcons are maybe playing for a group stage win, they are soaking up a lot of points that some of these other teams need. So I don't know if the slaying power from the Falcons is helping teams or hurting them, but we only have 2 more maps to find out here, Ton, and we are dropping into our penultimate map of the day.
Well, here we go. We're going to be starting to make another hefty circle over towards bioweapons, chemical engineering. It's cutting off headquarters, factory, living quarters, stronghold, and control, about half of it. This is a heavy northeast map. Gentlemen, would probably be screaming for something like this right now. Unfortunately for them, they've got to sit and watch to see if they can somehow survive. I just don't feel like it's going to happen. But we're into the game. Teams go into their regular spots for the most part. Big fights over prison, though, and that's going to be a nice one for a lot of teams to keep an eye out on. But for the side of Falcons, it's going to be a farm up, see what they can do to stronghold. They'll start making a move shot.
Yeah, as we watch Rock Esports, see where they are on the leaderboard. They're in 8th currently, but only a point behind Gentlemates, who are done. So Rock Esports most likely making it inside the top 7, pinning the teams behind them. Watch out for some of those fights. Now, a big shift here, 100 Thieves. This is the story. 100 Thieves has been struggling. What do they do when they see an extremely northeastern zone? They drop Bio, completely shifting this map on its head, and said, fine, Imkoy, you've kind of chalked your own game. You've also chalked ours. We don't want to deal with the Falcons. We're playing opposite side of the map.
And the team they're going up against is a team who've been here for what feels like the majority of the day in Fnatic. They are a team who've struggled and over the entirety, let's be honest, and they've struggled over towards bioweapons. It has not necessarily been a good playground for them, and now they have got a team like 100 Thieves to try and deal with. It is a tall order to see what Fnatic can do.
Yeah, the other shift, by the way, it happened last map as well. You were wondering probably where FaZe was landing. Chemical is wide open, so FaZe has landed at Chemical. They will likely be the first team that interacts with that Fnatic and 100 Thieves fight up in Bio if FaZe decides to leave. However, this zone won't necessarily pull to the submarine like it did last time we saw this one. It could pull to the Kim side. I bet they stay patient while we watch this fight here in prison.
There we go. Twisted Minds get themselves inside of prison pretty early. You can already see one player already drop back, making sure that this aggression isn't going to be, well, necessarily punished too much. But here we go. Padzuka, can he find much? Yeah, he's already found 2 kills to his name. But these will find the break. Fnatic Sanka sticking over towards the sub, and we'll keep things going here. But yeah, getting interested on not just Fnatic, but FaZe Clan, who have come to join the party.
I thought they for sure would be patient, but I guess when you look at the leaderboard, you know you can't be. You got to get active. 100 Thieves, a team ahead of you on the leaderboard. Yeah. You're sending 2 out, and they're right. There is no one over at Kim. They can keep their anchor over there. This is reminiscent of the Falcons' play style. Keep one slow, send the other 2 out. J-Tech picking up several, and now Blast on the run.
Blast that's alive momentarily. It should be pretty short here if he can continue to survive. Falls and wipes. Falls and wipe. Let's see, did anybody actually spawn up on the map for team number 8? I'm looking. I can't see a goddamn thing. 100 Thieves out. Another miserable game. They are in big, big trouble.
I thought it was such a good play to come up here, and I think it was fighting Fnatic, who are now getting wiped by FaZe. FaZe is flipping this map on its head. FaZe has gotten risky, and it is paying off. They flipped the coin, it landed heads, and now they're on top. This is unreal.
Those kills coming in against 100 Thieves are worth their weight in gold. That wipes an opposition out. Thieves are outside of the top 7, will still be outside of the top 7, and FaZe Clan can close that gap a significant amount. Fight starting to go on, of course, over towards the other side of the map. Living Quarters is going to start to get a little bit mixy here, actually. 30 seconds, the circle is closing. There are 3 or 4 different teams still outside the circle.
Again, northeastern zone. That means the Falcons get on the move very quickly. All 3 of the Falcons, by the way. This is the zone that they struggled with, the only map that the Falcons have struggled with, and they might struggle again, especially getting pinched here for Twisted Minds. Z-Smith's going to come down from on high. They're going to try to wipe this entire team if they can get a handle on them. Question is, have they found out where Shifty is deep inside the zone? Could he sneak in late and potentially play spoiler? I doubt it.
Shifty's the last one momentarily. Biffle will find himself coming back up. They did find Hisoka. Shifty now can get a little bit active. Can he find anything on the way out? Armor will first to drop. Smith will be there for the trades, but the reach out comes through. You manage to get yourselves back up and running if you're Falcons. if only just by the hair on your chin. But look at what's going on over towards this side as well. Teams fighting all across the top of prison. Top of the prison now belongs to EVOS Esports.
EVOS getting a little mixy here in the last 3 games. They say, don't worry, you might see us in LCQs, but we're going to go out with a bang regardless of this leaderboard. By the way, off screen, what you missed, Rock Esports, also one of the teams that are out. Of course, they were in a pretty good position on the leaderboard, but dropping a map like this, 100 Thieves dropping a map like this, there is still a lot of breathing room going into this last map. This leaderboard is going to be wide open going into the final one, pending the way this one ends. So let's get into it. Falcons, again, regain Blender, however, still alive. This is the one zone that has caused them a bit of concern as Almond's trying to hold, potentially find out where Hisoka is and hold this team.
Another team you want to speak of how this is all played out with and how this is good for is got to be TM, especially if you're finding those gunfights of your Almond. You'll take your second of this map, no problem against Hisoka. But at this stage, yeah, for TM, they're a team who's sitting in that top 7. Teams just below them, dropping out like flies. I mean, what, we've lost 3 teams? 3 of them all in contention for that top 7.
Yeah, 5 Fears moved over to the harbor side, now holding Twisted Minds. The gunshots in the sky with a signal flare that they have an opportunity to play edge of zone. And unfortunately, it does look like the CT squad has lost only a couple plates overall, winning the fight over here in ammo. But again, CT within striking distance, with the 2 teams ahead of them down, CT can make a play for the top 7 right now rather than the last map, especially if they can sniff out the rest of these lurking players from Leviathan who drop here.
We'll be starting a little bit of trouble here. Actually, 1 player remaining will just about get out. So teams who are really on this bubble are not having a good time, but some teams that have to be a team like FaZe. They were way out of the conversation and are talking very loudly right now. They are well and truly being talked about throughout everybody else. When we get into segments, they will be in and amongst it if this game keeps playing out the way it has done.
Okay, off screen, take a look at this. Now on screen, J-Tech flank both sides of this team of 3 being chowed right now. 5 Fears takes out the anchor. On the other side, it's Patzuka and Fnatic who have pushed out the remaining players of FaZe. Luckily, 1 player in the air floating. FaZe is not out of this map, but they are in a blender right now.
It's going to be a hard regain from where you are as well. A lot of teams in and around them. We'll keep an eye on how things are going there. 5 Fears, though, they were a team who surprised us towards the latter stages of yesterday. Okay, yeah, they're not really going to be anywhere near you would like to think. It takes something quite spectacular to get themselves up into that point where they can put themselves in that final day. But looking over towards the transition, we can see TM starting to make their way through Harbor. We're on board now with Falcons, who have had to stack together just a little bit. It has been a case of fighting with their backs up against the wall. And they've come out swinging. Not necessarily too many kills, but they are surviving.
Well, you ask Gamex, maybe step up for some of our other teams to give some breathing room on the leaderboard. And so far, I think I just saw Tenex pick up 3. They're kind of in a blender as well, split, but we're finding kills together inside of prison. Sukra doing a lot of the same, but on screen, the Falcons lying in wait, playing this prison side. Now, if I'm the Falcons, I'm playing for a win. I want to prepare for the finals. I've already made it there. They want to continue to prove that they are the best team here, and they want to make sure that they can practice whenever they can of getting a win. But unfortunately, on the rotation, it looks like CT has another plan in mind, which is pick off Shifty and make their lives a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, Resolve was all on his own there over towards top water tower. His team are actually down towards the dock side of things and are trying to continue to survive as well, but they do catch Falcons off guard. Fights going on here still over towards bioweapons, and it still is the regular customers over towards this side of the map.
Yeah, the only new customer is going to be that Movistar Koi, who's come all the way up from Control. We lost 2 members. They regained, and you're right, Falcons swinging all the way to Bio. You see 1 remainder in Industrials while this fight's happening on your screen. A big fight for CT, because this is one of the teams on the bubble looking for a play. Pick up 1 who gets a buy, but Aizen, they cannot stabilize. That BKA squad is in trouble.
A lot of kills going down. Not many teams dropping. It's getting very mixy over towards Bio. You can see 2 teams actually making their way up from Chemical, but here we go. Inside of Bio, as Netox cannot find the second. Hisoka is there for the trade. Teammate alongside of him, but there are a couple of other teams who probably want to get into this mix. 5 Fears, not too far away, looking to try and hold over towards where Falcons are. Biffle finds Patzuka. Fnatic find themselves in a little bit of a bad situation. Clubs are going to have to drop in here for the side of FaZe. They need to continue to survive, and they've dropped straight into the Lion's Den. Falcons are very much here.
Leviathan getting wiped almost off screen by EVOS. They picked up several. J-Tech is on 8 kills, so the FaZe team does put up a decent amount of points this game, even if they don't even make top 10. You say top 10? Yeah, we still have 11 teams alive. This one playing a lot slower than the last. Shifty into the mix. They've taken over Bio. Clumsy trying to find an angle to get in. The door only open for a moment as several teams are in the area. Zakar goes down. The Falcons maintain control over Bio, and Fnatic is holding on for their dear life on top.
Yeah, FaZe are a team who are in the water trying to survive, and there actually seems to be a pistol fight going on. I believe that's VK actually getting in amongst it. We'll keep an eye on how that one's going to go, because if FaZe go out, this was a huge opportunity for them. But right now, Falcons are playing spoiler over towards Bio. We'll see you later, Fnatic. They have just gained control of that side of the map. But you can see in the top left corner that the zone is moving in a different direction. We'll cover that in a second. But the fight over Industries right now, currently belonging to the side of CT. They are in a prime spot to put themselves in this top 7.
I'm really impressed with this CT squad to be able to rotate out of prison, get pushed out, regain, get into Industrials, win the fight. They've pushed Five Fears completely out, and now they have the entire building of Industries to themselves. Now you can see it in the mini-map. Most of that building is not going to be in the zone, and they're going to have to rotate out. Now we do see Twisted Minds off screen. They pick up a kill on a squad that really hasn't threatened them, but those are big kills for Twisted Minds to make sure they maintain a top 7 position.
I mean, just seeing Falcons actually pull out of the fight somewhat. They didn't like it. The fight over towards Industries was not working out for them, but on screen right now is Center Zone instead of Chemical Engineering right now are Twisted Minds. They can put some serious gap, a serious amount of breathing room between them and the competition, still fighting for that top 7, and Almond is adding to the tally. Shots coming in. Squad number 9 has been wiped. We will see no more of Five Fears in this game. We may well not see too much of the side of Leviathan if they keep getting picked up here by Almond and Co. But the fight now starting to make a move. That circle once again is starting to shrink towards Chemical Engineering. Falcons have got to try and make their push over towards that side. But currently they're holding over towards Industries, who are CT right now. Trying to get themselves out, but they've got a few different teams staring their way.
CT once again not getting the zone pull that they would like. Gonna have to rat their way forward. Luckily with the full team of 3, they can try to play this. Unfortunately, it does look like the Falcons absolutely know where they are.
The Falcons are going to move themselves.
Oh yeah, the Falcons are just going to rotate out. They don't really care about wiping the squad. They're going to try to get to position. Reminder, the Falcons want to win this game. They want to prove that they're the best. And over in Chemical, we've got 3 teams stacked on top of each other with Twisted Minds. Virtus.pro out of this lobby means that Twisted Minds can breathe. They were breathing underwater before, but now it's just oxygen filling their lungs full. There are now 3 teams inside of Chemical and more joining them. CT take the bottom. Talk about a layer cake. We got as many layers as you could possibly think of.
And look at how Falcons have managed to find themselves on top of the roof. Nobody was in control of that whatsoever. Koi not on the roof, in the opposite direction. Lace is being taken down, but you're in the water of your movie star. Koi by name, Koi by nature. They're just trying to survive underwater right now as the rest of the team's getting it on in Chemical Engineering.
Twisted Minds versus FaZe, likely the next fight that we will see. I expect CT to play nice and slow, but look at the zone pull! Unfortunately, Robstar and Jawad, you got the zone pull, but it doesn't matter. You got a cluster strike right on your head. Like the analysts talk about, in the late game, these streaks are everything. Jawad, Robstar in deep trouble, and the question is who goes early? It's not going to be Shifty. Twisted Mind finds one.
Oh my god, Twisted Minds have fallen. Not 2 of them, 3 of them gone. Clumsy and Flank finding it, and who's finding it? It's FaZe. Time and time again when they need to. 3 teams remaining in Chemical Engineering, and now they need to start moving. 30 seconds of the zone closing. Netox will fall. We are down to 4 teams.
Down to 4 teams, and many of these teams need it. Many of these teams are on the bubble. Jawad and Robstar have been saved. They have the zone pull. They could potentially win this as well, but CT not going down without a fight. They might be last to the party, but it doesn't mean they won't be the last to leave. Here we go. Jawad inside of technical zone. We're able to play it, but no cover to work with. Double push. FaZe, CT almost seemingly working together, but Robstar wins it. Robstar cleans them. FaZe off the map. It's just Diaz Biffle by himself. And somehow, some way, Robstar last alive for his team, lying in wait for the final player to die in zone. King Matty, will you give up your life or will you take Robstar's? He will give it, and somehow, some way, Robstar and EVOS have won a map. Unreal.
Incredible. When you see them on the corner wall next to Harbor and the cluster comes in, I'm thinking chalked. I didn't even consider that they would be in the equation, they would be in the conversation. They close out the game. But the real story for EVOS isn't really about them. The real story is about some of the teams who are fighting around that top 7 having a disastrous time. CT Gaming will close that gap further. FaZe Clan will close that gap further. Movistar also within that top 5. If you're Rock, if you're 100 Thieves, if you're Twisted Minds, you're looking down and it ain't pretty beautiful.
Look, I will say